We don't go through each of the 104. The whole purpose of the charter schools staff's summary is to give the commissioner, both in writing and in our discussion, a sense of what the strengths and weaknesses of the application are compared to those criteria. So to suggest that the commissioner was not given any information on the criteria, I think misinterprets that process. As part of that discussion, I think we came to a quick conclusion that 2 of the 3 applications were clearly substandard, and we really didn't spend a lot of time on that. That was the staff's conclusion, and we, Commissioner asked a few questions but did not go into great depth there. He accepted that. Most of our discussion at that initial meeting did take place around the Gloucester application, because we did indicate, as Rhoda refers to it, as a jump ball. It was a tougher call for sure. That again, as has been noted a number of times today, we certainly don't have a standard that everyone has to meet all 104 criteria without exception. What we're trying to do is see if you have substantial compliance to the point where we are confident the school has a good chance of success. And there clearly was a judgment on the part of the charter school staff that they didn't think that Gloucester met that bar, but they also made it clear to the commissioner that it was a tougher call. If the commissioner made up his mind to, notwithstanding that, to recommend approval of that, in the next 24 hours, he certainly hit it well from me. He had a number of conversations with me, first by phone from the conference in Phoenix, and then after he returned. We had a number of conversations, both on the merits of the application and on the fiscal trigger that he was thinking of. It was clear to me that the fiscal trigger was important to him because he felt uncomfortable about recommending approval without that. I actually had misgivings about the fiscal trigger. I was interested to hear the Secretary's comments today that he had the same. But those conversations went on for some period of time. I can tell you with absolute certainty that the so-called smoking gun draft of the letter prepared by Ruth Hirsch in our office that indicated the commissioner was not going to recommend it, and that as proof that he somehow changed his mind, was simply a good staff member preparing for contingencies and trying to save herself some time, because we actually have a very short period of time between the commissioner's decisions and the time we have to get the materials ready for the board packet. Ruth did not receive any instruction from me to prepare that letter. She did that on her own initiative. I had never received any indication from the commissioner that he was going to recommend, not recommend the charter, and that we should prepare for that. What I gleaned from all my conversations with him was that he was wrestling with this, and that it was a tough call for him. And ultimately, of course, he then made the decision, communicated that to me, and I communicated that to the charter school office. So I just wanted to see if I could make that clear.
I think what I'd like to do now or next is ask the Commissioner to talk about some of the things that, whether already in progress or as a result of the IG's report, we intend to focus on, such as strengthening process and clarifying language.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as I said when we first learned that the IG was doing the investigation, and repeated again this morning to Inspector General Sullivan, who's sitting here with us, I was determined from the start that that we needed to learn what we can learn from the Gloucester situation and from his investigation. So although I disagree with some fundamental conclusions in the report, I do think that there are a number of ways that the report points us toward tightening up language processes, minimizing the likelihood of misinterpretation. So I think of those as sort of three basic areas. One are changes in our own regs, our own rules, And we've already taken some of those steps. You have, based on the Joint Committee's recommendations coming out of the June, I guess it was, Joint Committee hearing in Gloucester, there were some recommendations, and we have already adopted some changes that clarifies that a board member has to attend each hearing, that we have to, and we went even further and clarified that the board member has to report on that hearing, and you'll hear that next month when we take up new applications. Also clarifying the use of the U.S. Census estimate. That was a piece that was contended through this piece. So there's some changes we've already put into play. We will continue to look at the feedback we've gotten alongside of the new requirements in the new legislation and bring you further refinements. The second area of changes in our language. I mean, if we have language out there that invites misinterpretation of the way in which we do business, we need to clarify that, and we're determined to. If our language leads folks to believe that for an application to be approved, it has to meet each and every one of those 100+ sub-criteria, that's not anything that we've ever operated on in the past. We'll clarify that that's not the case. Those sub-criteria emanate from or derive from the 3 core criteria: fidelity to the charter, performance, and organizational viability of the charter. And we need to be strong on our judgment, understand that at that level of those 3 cornerstone pieces, that's where we have to feel that this applicant measures up. Likewise, if we need to clarify that it's the commissioner who brings a recommendation to the board, we'll clarify that with language if there's room for assuming that a recommendation at the staff level locks both the board and the commissioner into that decision. We'll clarify that. And then the third area is in terms of new applications, and we have some guidance again from the new legislation, as well as the Inspector General's report. You'll see some of this begin to play out next month as we bring to you the applications that we're currently looking at. We have 6 in front of us. You'll see the summary of the interviews, the detailed summary of the interviews, the review of the applications in written format as part of the documentation that we bring to you as part of that process. So those are the pieces that I've taken away from this, Madam Chair. I'd be, again, open to other suggestions as we go forward. The third area is in terms of the new application process and the material that we bring to the board.